New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Why, hello there, my lovelies. Welcome to Your Doula for Grief. I just want to thank you for making me a part of whatever time you're watching me, part of your morning, your afternoon, or night. But I just want to say welcome and thank you. And if this is your first time joining Your Doula for Grief, I just want to assure you that you have come to the right place to begin your healing journey from grief. And if you're returning, I always say I'm honored that we now have a relationship, that you come back, you trust me, and I'm just honored to have you. And I would like to offer you to make these next minutes about you and for you. Make yourself a part of this program. Drop a comment, ask a question. And even if you're watching it on the replay, you can still send a question. I will still get that information. So know that I'm available to answer your questions. So as I said, sit back, make this about you and for you. Grab a glass of wine, a cup of tea, or whatever it is that you need right now to be most comfortable. So a little bit about me before I continue. As I said, my name's Bonnie Gonzalez. That hasn't changed in the last few seconds. And I am a grief coach. I am a certified grief educator. I'm a registered nurse, religious science practitioner, and a licensed soul collage facilitator. But my most important I am is that I am a human being right here on the planet with you right now during these really, truly auspicious times. So know that we are in this together. And my mission, the reason that I'm here every week is that my goal is to demystify grief, to bring it out of the shadows of our lives and bringing it right smack dab into the middle of our lives. Because grief can be the greatest teacher in our lives if we can just accept it, embrace it, and be with it. You know, if you're laughing and having a good time, that's not anything that we want to get away from anytime soon. But I know what it's like when you're in the middle of grief, feeling sad, lonely, whatever emotions come up that are not making you feel good. It's so easy to want to turn away from that or run away from that. But no, by leaning into grief, leaning into those difficult emotions, that is where the healing is. That is the answer that you're looking for. And I always think it's so funny that we run away from the very thing that we need to heal us. So just a brief, I always want to give an explanation about loss and grief. So grief is just a natural response to our losses. And we suffer a myriad of losses in our lives. So yes, there will be things to grieve. You know, I think about death. Yes, that's the biggest hole that will ever have blown through our hearts, for sure. But there are other losses that we will encounter? How about the how about, divorce is another one. Divorce, loss of a friendship, geographical moves. How about surgery? How about declining health? What about just aging in general? Those are all losses, the loss of youth. So in turn, we have those losses. And then we have emotional responses to those losses. Be it sadness, really moments of numbness and confusion. And sometimes people have joy even after a loss. But know that whatever comes up is natural for you. We all are just these unique, sweet human beings, and we're also different. As they say, we're like those snowflakes. Each one is differently designed from the other. And that is us and our experiences with life. We respond to the same situations in different ways. So being in acceptance of the way that you grieve. So I think I covered all those bases and want to move on to our theme for today. And the theme for today is the many faces of grief and faith modalities to heal them. And it's a continued conversation that I was having last week with Dr. Soloman. And before I bring Dr. Soloman on, just talking about different traditions, because he's going to talk about his faith traditions that he practices. But I found this statement that I'm going to read. It was from Tara Brach, and it's about a different faith tradition. And this is from the Lakota Sioux tradition. And here's their belief. Their belief is that a person who is grieving is considered most wakened and most holy. There's a sense that when someone is struck by the sudden lightning of loss, he or she stands on the threshold of the spirit world. The prayers of those who grieve are considered especially strong, and it is proper to ask them for help. You might recall what it's like to be with someone who has grieved deeply. The person has no layer of protection, nothing left to defend. The mystery is looking out through that person's eyes. For the time being, he or she has accepted the reality of loss and have stopped clinging to the past or grasping at the future. In the groundless openness of sorrow, there is a wholeness of presence and a deep natural wisdom. So just be with that for a minute. Just be with that, seeing grief as a time of being most holy. So just be with that a few minutes. I'm so sorry, I have a little bit of background noise today. So trying to avoid that. So I just love different faith traditions and just different spiritual practices that shine a different light on grief. And that's why we're having back Dr. Soloman from last week. Dr. Soloman is an Efa priest and practicing to be an Efa priest, and also practices a voodoo tradition. So we're going to have Reverend, I'm calling him Reverend now. How about Dr. Soloman? We're going to have Dr. Soloman back with us. And so if Dr. Soloman could join us, Joe, that would be great.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Oh, how are you doing? That's the question. We had such an interesting conversation last week, Dr. Soloman. So I thought we should continue it and kind of tie up some loose ends or some questions that may have come up from our last time together. And I didn't know if you wanted to add more words of wisdom. And I will start because after listening to our program last week, Dr. Soloman,
Yes,
I realized that you were talking about traditions there. Dr. Soloman is in New Orleans, and you were telling me about practices there that they have for honoring the dead.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So
The second line. The second line is like a band. We get together on a day like Sunday was Super Sunday. Different clubs have them here in New Orleans, and when someone passes on, we call it a celebration of life. And we have the second line band, and we go through the areas that they were most visited, that you could catch them in. And some have the casket, and some just get out and do their thing. It's a big dance. It's a big party. You know, you do the grief part, and you dance and you celebrate life, because, like I said before, everything goes back to spirit. And that's one of the ways that we celebrate. You know, people do a lot of things. Put a picture on a T-shirt, paint a picture on a car. Always remember the birthday.
Oh, I lost your volume.
T-shirt, put a picture on a T-shirt, and family get together, release balloons. But the second line is a common practice here in New Orleans. It's a celebration of life, music, family, friends, and we get to the area that the person mostly visited, and that's when we show out. Usually by a bar, or area that they lived in. You know, if they frequented a certain bar, and that's what we do, man. We just that's one of the things that was here. Death is should be seen as not a bad thing. It could be a continuation of your loved one just in an ancestor realm that we could communicate with, and we can honor every day. That they can communicate with us and help us also. That's one of the things that we do.
Right. Before we expound a little bit more on second line, I have some questions around that. I want to acknowledge that we have 2 questions in our comment box, or 2 comments. And the first one is from Wayne, and Wayne is in Calgary. Hello, Wayne. I'm glad you could join us today. And Wayne says, if dead people return to love, why grieve? Oh, I think that's beautiful. I'm interpreting as Wayne saying that when someone dies, they are returned to love, to that loving realm. So why should we grieve? And Alexandra answered the question for Wayne. She says, because we miss them. And thank you so much, Alexandra. And also, I've talked about this. Wayne's mother passed a few months ago. Wayne, what's your mother's name? If you're still with me, would you put it in the comment box? I'd like to just honor her and honor her memory. And knowing that your mother is always with you, as you said, she's in that place of love. And love is what our lives are all about, is love. So she's there. So thank you. So, Dr. Soloman, so you were talking about doing the second line. Now, does that happen just on the day of the funeral, or is it on the anniversary of the death? Or tell me a little bit about how it comes about.
Well, it happens, someone passed, and we say, okay, we're going to second line for them. So it could be, it's not that as the day on the funeral. It just like we here in New Orleans, we celebrate everybody. When Frankie Beverly passed on, we celebrated him to a big mega second line. Michael Jackson passed on, we celebrated Michael Jackson with a big second line. So it's not a designated day for say. It's that someone passed, there's going to be a funeral, and best believe there's going to be a second line.
My sister died suddenly in 2020, and not from COVID or anything, but she just died suddenly, cardiac arrest. But I was just thinking, I'd love to have a second line for her, like today, like we could go out and just dance and celebrate her. That really, oh my gosh, that really just warms my heart to hear that you can do second line at any time.
And it's a way to you know, like I say, you celebrating your death, and you celebrating the death, you celebrating the life, and you also going through that grief process. But at that time, you finna play the music out, and you finna get out and shake, man, and just enjoy them and remember them. And it's a great thing, you know. So it could be, like I say, it could be, you know, the funeral has happened, and then after the funeral, we do the second line.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I've just written a book, and I have a chapter in there about, you know, grief is difficult, grief is hard, it's painful, but sometimes we need to take a day off. We need to go out and celebrate. We need, and it doesn't mean that you're disrespecting your loved one, if that's what it is, or what you lost wasn't important. It just means that we are living, and yes, we do need to take, I call it a respite, a break from our grief, a break from it. And sometimes in taking that break, a lot of healing can happen.
And in my understanding is that the ancestors move to the ancestral realm, and as we mourn and cry, they hurt. So they don't want us to be mourning and crying. They want us to be happy and joyful. They have to pass on and get to a position to say, okay, he's okay. Because they're going to worry still. Remember when, I don't care if it's an uncle and Efa, an uncle, a daddy, a brother, as they go to the ancestral realm, they are parents and we are the child. So look at it as we crying and we can't move and we can't function. That's not a good look for them. And they're not happy, they're sad because of that. So that's where I can understand the second line comes in place and why it's so important to have that. And why it's so important to do that. I understand grieving, like you said, grieving could be anything. It could be for a divorce, a sickness. You healing and you grieving because you're not moving like you was. And, you know, mental illness is, depression is serious. And we can come out of, there's a lot of things that can come out of grief. A lot of mental illness, a lot of depression, a lot of just not functioning, you know. So it's very important to celebrate the memory of them, celebrate their life. And it's also very important for people to stay in contact with one another.
Oh, that's so true. So true. My three pillars, I call it, of beginning to heal our grief is that grief needs to be talked about, grief needs to be validated, and grief needs to be shared. Bell Hooks says we can't heal in isolation. We really do need each other to heal our grief. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it until we can't talk about it anymore, until there are no more words to say. Because you were saying that our ancestors in the Efa tradition and Voodoo tradition, our ancestors, if we're grieving, they're grieving is what I'm hearing. Is what I'm hearing. That so how do we get, you know, we have to get it out. We have to get it out. It's not going to just evaporate. What we resist will persist. So getting it out so that you know that your ancestors are right there to help you move through that grief.
Music is a great tool for any situation that is. People want to talk about this gangster rap and this, man, music is a great stress releaser. You know, I believe cold-heartedly that it heals autism, it heals depression, it heals grief, it heals some of everything and anything. You know, feeling bad and sad can really just stop everything. Riding in that car, listen to something nice, good music, make you think about something positive, you start your day. You know, we here, we getting ready to do the it's a national healing movement in the Voodoo tradition. We have an annual the Voodoo Tradition Festival will be April 5th and 6th here in New Orleans. It's the second one, and it's about healing, and it's about us coming together, learning how to make things, learning how to do the soaps, learning about the herbs, learn about the different things to use to cleanse. You know, everybody talks about certain things, but it's everything out there. And work is very important, and putting in the work is very important. So as you do things, you ease pain. And as that person that comes to knock on your door and actually asks you how you doing, it eases pain. So please listen to some music, you know, call on your ancestors and go check on people and care about them and let them know that, okay, I know you're going through this. I'm here for you, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Dr. Soloman, that's a page from my book of being in philosophy around grief, is that we are social creatures. We're social creatures, and we really do need each other. We really do need each other. As Bell Hooks says, we cannot heal our grief in isolation. Oh, and there's the aspect of music that you just talked about. I just feel like music comes from some other place, from, I don't know, another realm. I'll put it that way, another realm. Because you're so right, healing. I can put on a song if I'm feeling, just, put out. I can put on like my favorite song or some and feel just so much better instantly. That my it alters my level of consciousness instantly. And go ahead. Yes.
No, go ahead. I was just saying that it's a form of medicine.
Oh, medicine.
It's a form
yes.
of medicine. Music is a form of medicine.
Right.
It's a form of therapy. It's a form of just feeling good about everything, about life. You know,
and
music is wonderful.
And also, if I can't cry, because I feel personally that crying is important, that those tears are cleansing, those tears are cleansing our soul. And I can even put on music, that I have a piece of music if I feel the need to cry. I put that on and I can cry. It massages your solar plex, that center right there in your gut that stores a lot of tension, and it can relieve that by crying. It kind of cleanses your solar plex. So I am in honor of Second Line. Maybe I could make my own second line at home, play some music for my sister, play some of her favorite music.
Yeah, that would be nice. She would enjoy that.
Thank you. Oh, and I just want a little bit more clarity. You said April 5th and 6th is a voodoo festival.
Yes, it's the National Voodoo Festival coming out of Benin in Africa, and we're doing a second one here in New Orleans. So it's going to be something very, very that we should all get into and love. It's becoming to be big because it's about healing. I'm looking up some more dates for you here.
Yeah, I think you said April 5th and 6th.
Yes, April 5th and 6th.
And it's called the National Voodoo Festival in New Orleans, correct? New Orleans, I'm not sure how to say that. But.
Yeah. It's New Orleans National Voodoo Day. Okay. New Orleans National Voodoo Day is the correct title.
New Orleans, okay.
We're gonna do our thing on April 5th and April 6th. It's medicine and magic of New Orleans voodoo, art exhibit, and explores the deep connection between. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. So we should get our tickets now. That's coming up. We're
gonna have so much spirituality, art, the ecology. We're gonna have powerful exhibits. We're gonna feature work of local artists, displays, experiences, highlights the sacred symbols, natural elements, spiritual practices. It's just something that is done in Africa, and we bring it here in New Orleans. And it's the second one. April 5th, we're going to have something between 9:30 and 5 local. You got to go to Xavier University, and then we're going to meet at Congo Square probably on the 6th.
Okay.
But it's awesome. It's going to be, It was a big thing, and we're gonna keep doing it, man. Y'all come see us if y'all want to heal. This is what this is about.
I can't make it this year, Dr. Soloman, but I promise I'll put it on my calendar for next year.
Yes.
Because I'm sure I'll still be doing this work.
One thing about it, somebody always come to New Orleans for something. And this is a great thing to plan your trip around. And when you visit in here, we're going to be doing our thing. Come check us out. It's very powerful. And you're going to see different people that perform and speak and talk about the culture of voodoo. It's time to get out of what they say on TV and in the movies. It's time to get to the real. How this connects with healing, how this connects to get over grief, court case, whatever it may be, sickness. This is very powerful stuff. So y'all come join us April 5th and April 6th.
Yeah. So this is more about healing your life and whatever is going on, be it grief or other issues that are other concerns or challenges that you're having. It sounds like you're offering a place for people to come to practice some new healing. New, I'm probably not new, but these are all ancient ways of healing that we maybe have in our cultures have forgotten. How does that sound? That we're bringing back those ancient ways
I like
of
that.
healing.
And we also want you to come to, when you come to New Orleans, one of the greatest kept secrets is Congo Square. And it's in Armstrong Park. It's in Armstrong Park. We have the ancestor tree there. We drum and we dance every Sunday between 3 and 6. Every Sunday between 3 and 6. And I hope to be going on, I'm healing up, get back in there doing lives where y'all will see what's going on. It's finna warm up, so we ready to kick off. But shout out to Sharon of the White Cloth, and shout out to Elder Reggie of that he's on the board, and Divine Prince is on the board. So these names that y'all may know about in the voodoo world and the Efa world. Every Sunday we also at the Shrine of the White Cloth, we also communicate with our ancestors and teach people about that. Pouring libations, how important that is. And just coming together. It's one big hug, man.
One big hug. I love that. One big hug. Well, it sounds like there's a lot going on. How long, Dr. Soloman, have you been a practitioner of voodoo, what you saying?
I had another practice in life where I was doing things that were not legally.
Or not conducive to living your best life. Let's put it that way.
But for some reason, I was always touched this. I always had questions and I always dealt with this. And then when I finally really got sat down and took a vacation that I didn't want to take, I started meeting different people. And I just started back studying. This was what I always knew. Didn't know what it was called, but this was what I always wanted. And then when I came into New Orleans, which is the voodoo capital of the world, because I was in Miami, and I was dealing with different voodoo, different Santeria, and I got into Efa. And I said, this was. And let me tell you, it shaped me, it saved me.
I lost you again. Lost your volume.
It shapes me. It's healing me. It's a wonderful thing, and I'm not here to knock what nobody believes in. I know this works for me. And I know it's time to, like you put your money where your mouth is. This have saved me. I've been dead since 2017.
Wow.
I've been stood over with a pistol, and the pistol went fire, and the dude said, he was hearing me say something, and he happened to be a friend of mine. And somebody said, no, don't do this. And it just was, it was just
can't hear you again.
It was just it just not, and I found out it's not about doing wrong and touching this so you don't go to jail or you don't get robbed. I learned that this is not about when I'm in trouble. Let me call on this. This is something that I walk, that I'm teaching my kids to do, that strengthens me, and that makes me feel good and makes me better. It's a struggle now because this is the healing process. But without me touching Efa, without me touching voodoo,
Yeah, we'll keep
I
losing.
mean, I don't know if I need to put this on Do Not Disturb. I was wondering would I still be able to be on this
Oh, it's
live, but
okay. I think you're good. You just fade out ever so often. Probably
yeah,
you're on your phone,
I'm
so
getting
you're
a
probably
phone
getting a
call.
call and then it just fades
Yeah.
out. No, because I'm gonna wrap this up. I just wanted to, yeah, and you pretty much asked the question that I was thinking. What has Efa and Voodoo done for your life? And I think you just answered that, healing your
Yeah.
health. I guess there are daily practices that you follow in both traditions, or there
Yeah.
practices that one would follow?
Yes, it's whatever you're on. It's doing your work. You know, you study, you practice. You say this is the way you live. Why would I read 20, 25, 53, 20, hold on. Why would I tell them to stop calling me? Why would I who is it? Hold on 1 minute.
Okay.
Why would I why would I why would I why would I do a prayer and it's giving me the direction to go in life and I don't follow it?
Okay, so they're daily prayers that you do follow. Okay. Did you want to read one? Was that it?
No, this is the school is calling me for something.
I'm sorry.
20, 20,
Still can't hear you. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, man.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I was asking you if there was a prayer that you wanted to read for us, or no?
No, I was, hold on.
Well, I
Yeah,
am
I'm sorry.
going to.
Someone just called me.
Okay.
It's the school. Is this a school?
Dr.
Ma'am?
Solomon? Yes. I'm going to
Solomon,
let
I'm
you
coming. Let me go.
I'm
Okay.
going to let
This
you
is my
go.
school. This is about my kids.
Okay.
Just give me 2
Well,
minutes.
thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
I'm home. Thank you, ma'am.
All righty. Thank you. And you continue.
Okay, I'm
your
coming. I'm coming now.
journey. All right.
I'm coming at the door now. Give me 2 minutes. I gotta get up.
It sounds like Dr. Solomon is in high demand here, and I thank him for taking the time to be with us today. So I understand life is full for us. So thank you so much, Dr. Solomon.
So thank y'all. Can't wait to see
Okay,
y'all
Joe, I think
next time.
Dr. Solomon is leaving us. So
No,
I want
I'm
to
just gonna
thank everyone for joining us today. Joe, are you there? Why don't we just take a little break for a minute, Joe?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Why, welcome back. Thank you. Oh, I just want to say thank you for listening today. And it's always great to hear about other faith traditions. I opened with a reading from the Lakota Sioux tradition about grief being held in high reverence. And then Dr. Soloman talked to us about, the voodoo practice and Efa practice of having second line celebrations. So I just want to leave you with, what are your thoughts? What are your beliefs? What are your practices around healing grief? What are your faith, if you have a faith tradition that you follow? And if not, maybe this is a time to start to check out different beliefs, different faiths, different traditions and beliefs. So with that, I just say I'm just so glad to have the opportunity to hear what other traditions do and incorporate it. Do I want to, kind of borrow a little bit from that faith, or I want to borrow a little bit and make my own? I have my own eclectic tradition, or just what heals me? And that's your question for yourself today. What heals you? What makes you feel that there is hope? And yes, and just fall into that. Fall into what it is that you feel that brings you hope. And I'm just going to bring my show to a close today the way that I always do, by just asking you, once this is over, go to the mirror. I want you to just look yourself in the eye. Look yourself in the eye. Hold your own gaze and say, what do I need today? What do I need today? And you answer, whatever the answer is, please honor it and follow through with it. I thank you, and know that this too will pass, that all of these emotions that come up from grief, they come to pass through you, not to be held inside, but to come up and out. So with that, I just thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you again on the next episode of Your Doula for Grief. So thank you. Namaste.
New Thought Radio, music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Nahmod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.